Willie. There's this little girl, Willie.
Man, they don't know nothing about them.
But no. You just said that they said to you,
I'm
Willie.
talking about her family.
Oh,
Her
okay.
family. Let's get it right.
Okay, so hold on.
Let's get it.
You take this pregnancy test with your wife, this test you've been doing once a week because you hope to conceive a child. And after this moment of, yes, we're pregnant, you have to get the news that, oh no, but you cheated. So you basically knew more than the doctor.
It's my body.
Is this your first baby?
No, it's not.
First of all, calm that neck down when I'm asking you questions because I'm trying to understand what your point is, and your point proves your case.
So here we are at the starting line of the Stockley versus Tucker showdown, introduced with a dash of flair by Jerome, the court's trusty sidekick. As the judge and audience exchange a warm "good day," you can almost feel the anticipation bubbling up in the room, like a soda can shaken too hard. Get ready, folks. This drama is just starting to fizz.
Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Stokely versus Tucker.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Miss Stokely, you say you feel pain and guilt in your heart for claiming the wrong man was your daughter, Waikia's biological father, for the past 23 years.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more intriguing, Waikia recounts bumping into Mr. Tucker as a kid. It's one of those "do you know who I am?" moments that feel straight out of a soap opera. Except in this episode, there's no dramatic gasp or fainting, just a confused kid and a missed connection that's about to take center stage years later. The suspense is building, and so is our appetite for drama.
I don't know about that. I really don't.
You never knew anything about it.
No. Only saw Waikia since she was 8 years old, and that was it.
Waikia, you remember seeing Mr. Tucker when you were 8 years old.
Yes, I do.
Can you describe that?
Because I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember I was coming out of the store and we bumped into this guy, and this guy looked down over top of me and looked me in my face and said, "Do you know who I am? My name Willie."
Candace Tucker enters the chat, and boy, does she sound like she just walked into the middle of a movie. She's got questions, doubts, and a sprinkle of sass about the whole situation. It's like realizing you've missed out on a sister because of a 23-year-long game of hide and seek. The drama meter is cranking up, and we're here for it.
I'm just sitting here because I'm just completely confused. My whole thing is, I did hear about her when she was 8. I was with my dad at that time, and then I did meet her again, but it's just like, she's saying that she's so sure that this is my dad's child. Why wait 23 years? Like, it's basically like I will miss out on the whole sister. I've been around all my other sisters and brothers. He loved his children, and if he had a possible child, I'm quite sure he would have said, "This is your sister," and we would have been a family.
Here comes a plot twist straight out of a weather report. The blizzard of '93. It's like setting the scene for a romantic novel, except it's just a really inconvenient snowstorm that trapped 2 potential lovebirds, or at least baby makers. This blizzard is about to become more famous than any snow day in history. Let's slide into this icy tale.
So, Mr. Tucker, do you remember this snowstorm?
Yes, I do.
The snow, it was high. Snow was up to the peephole at the door. So I tried to leave the second day. When I opened the door, the snow fell in on us.
So you all were trapped inside.
That's storm.
And so during those entire 3 days, you were intimate.
Yes, ma'am.
The judge is pulling out a conception calculator like it's a magic wand. With a few clicks, we're time traveling back to the blizzard of '93, pinpointing the exact moment Waikia might have been conceived. It's like solving a mystery with math, which is honestly a lot cooler than any of us remembered from school. The anticipation is snowballing.
You guys were in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, yeah.
I want to look this up. The snowstorm blizzard of 1993, Philadelphia. Now, it says Philadelphia blizzard of 1993, the worst snowstorm in years, the 6th largest snowfall in the county. Snowstorm shut city down from March 12th to March 15th.
Yes, Your Honor.
This is going to help us determine whether or not Mr. Tucker is truly a possible biological father for Waikia.
Mrs. Stockley's spilling the tea that she was playing musical chairs with 2 guys during the storm. It's a classic "who's the daddy" scenario that's got more twists than a pretzel factory. This confession is juicier than a high school gossip circle, and we're all leaning in for the details. Who knew a snowstorm could lead to such a heated discussion?
Put in your birth date into this conception calculator and push calculate. The window of conception would be March 12th to March 18th. Sounds like things may have been heating up during that snowstorm. Miss Stokely, were you with any other men during that time?
Yes, I was, Your Honor. That was my boyfriend at the time.
Buckle up, because Mrs. Stockley and Mr. Tucker are diving into a debate that's got more back and forth than a ping pong match. They're unraveling years of he said, she said, with the skill of seasoned reality TV stars. This is the kind of argument that makes you glad you're just watching from the sidelines, munching on your popcorn.
But when I was pregnant with Waikia, after I had Waikia, we all live in the same neighborhood. I seen Mr. Tucker many a time.
So why not just tell him?
Because like I said, he would come to my neighborhood, neighborhood, I would go to his neighborhood. I still had an auntie live on his block. His sisters, they would say to me, where my niece at? Where my little niece at? Where my niece at?
His family members would say, where my little niece at?
Yes.
No, Yana, her mom, her friends, everybody in her neighborhood, when I be going to work, Zakia, you know,
Zakia.
Wakia.
Just when you think it's turning into a daytime drama fest, the judge calls for a moment of Oprah-level wisdom, asking for understanding and forgiveness. It's a heartfelt plea that reminds us why we're all really here, to find out who gets to wear the world's best dad mug. The stage is set for a tearjerker, so keep those tissues handy.
Yana, he's lying.
Yeah, it's 2 men.
He's lying.
So hold on, I want to understand
lying.
this. Hold on. So Ms. Stokely, is it
Yes.
your testimony that he knew the possibility?
He knew.
But you feel like he did not put forth an effort?
No.
So you went about your business of being mother and father.
At the time, I was still with my ex. So I couldn't go to Mr.
that's
Tucker and
not the
say, well, you know what, this is your daughter, this and the third. I see him from time to time, all the time.
But why shut me out?
I never shut you out.
Waikia takes the mic with a vulnerability that could crack the hardest of hearts. She's not just looking for a dad, she's looking for the missing piece of her family puzzle. It's a moment so touching, you'd have to be made of stone not to feel a little something. We're not crying. You're crying. Okay, maybe we're all crying just a bit.
They don't care
It
about
wasn't
no
about
baby
no
father.
man to man to man.
They don't care about
it wasn't
no
about
baby
no
father.
man to man to man.
Listen, okay, Mr. Tucker, I gotta ask the same question of you.
Yes.
Once your aunt, your family members, your mother, Willie, there's this little girl, Willie,
Man,
there's
they don't know nothing about them.
But no,
family,
you just said that they said to you,
I'm
Willie.
talking about her family.
Oh,
Her
okay.
family. Let's get it right.
Okay, so hold on.
Let's get it right.
Mr. Tucker's stepping up to the plate, ready to swing for the fences if Waikia turns out to be his. He's promising to give it his all, and suddenly, we're all Team Tucker, rooting for this family reunion like it's our own. The courtroom feels more like a pep rally, and we're all cheering for a happy ending.
You were saying the people who were running up on you were from her family.
Yes.
And so that's
Yeah.
why your response to them was, she hadn't told me nothing.
Yes, Yana.
Okay, once you had information from her family, even if it wasn't your family,
Right.
why then would you not pursue it and say, Kathy, people keep coming up to me talking about we got this little girl. What is
'Cause
going on with this
A
little
real
girl?
woman, front they man.
And now, the moment of truth, drum roll please. Mr. Tucker is
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Tucker, you are the father.
the court session for Kiesel v. Kiesel kicks off with the judge and the crowd exchanging hellos like they're old friends at a reunion. Jerome steps up to introduce the case, setting the stage for a paternity drama involving Mrs. Kiesel's unborn baby that's got more twists than a pretzel factory. Grab your popcorn. This is gonna be a wild ride.
Mr. Kiesel, you say your marriage depends on today's paternity results after your wife announced that the child she is currently pregnant with may not be yours. You are here to prove you are the father and save your family. Mrs. Kiesel, you say it breaks your heart to stand in court, prove that your husband is not your unborn child's father, but you know the truth. Another man is.
If you thought your pregnancy was stressful, get a load of this. Mrs. Kiesel shares the emotional whirlwind she's in, not just with marriage woes, but a pregnancy caught in the crossfire of a paternity debate. The baby shower got axed because the guest list looked more like a Maury Povich show lineup. Talk about party poopers.
It has affected me in a huge way, not only just our marriage, but my pregnancy as well, because it's hard for me to necessarily, yes, I'm excited for it, but it makes it harder when there's so much stress put into the pregnancy.
In the What Were You Thinking segment, the judge, with a tone of bewildered curiosity, asks Mrs. Kiesel about her whirlwind decision to step out so soon after saying, "I do." Mrs. Kiesel reminisces about the rushed journey down the aisle and the ghost of boyfriend past haunting her. Speed-running marriage achievements unlocked.
Really rushed into a relationship. We had been dating on and off, but it was back and forth with my ex and him. We both have broke up a couple times over while we were dating. And then when we got married, it just was kind of like a let's go do this kind of thing. It was like, let's do it today. So we did. I just feel like we might have got married a little too young. So that I think has a big effect on it as well, because I wasn't fully over my ex.
Get ready for the emotional roller coaster, folks. Mr. Kiesel recounts his side of the pregnancy reveal, which quickly goes from celebration to devastation, putting a whole new spin on the term term baby blues. And you thought surprise parties were intense?
You take this pregnancy test with your wife, this test you've been doing once a week because you hope to conceive a child. And after this moment of, yes, we're pregnant, you have to get the news that, oh no, but you cheated.
It was crushing. We had been trying for a while, and she was in the bathroom. She walked out crying and told me she was pregnant, and I asked why she was crying, and she told me that there's a possibility that I might not be the father. And that's just, I broke down myself.
Hold on, it's the Maury moment. Mrs. Kiesel dives into the details of conception timelines and intimate rendezvous with an attention to dates that would make a historian proud. This baby's inception story has more timelines than a sci-fi novel. Who needs a calendar when you've got drama like this?
It wasn't really a doctor appointment. I had started spotting. So we went to the emergency room to confirm that I was even pregnant because we just had a home test done. So April 1st, I went to the emergency room.
And did they give you your conception date?
Yes, they did, Your Honor. It was March 8th.
March 8th. And now, Mr. Kiesel, when were you intimate with your wife?
We were intimate on the 8th.
So that's gonna be a K for Mr. Kiesel.
Guess who's playing detective? Mr. Kiesel, armed with ultrasound pics and a keen eye for family resemblances, is convinced he's the dad based on a shared nosy profile because nothing says paternity like matching nostrils. CSE Baby Edition.
We have a nose that looks a lot alike. Mine goes down and then bubbles at the end, and with the ultrasounds that we had, the child had the same kind of nose.
You believe by looking at this ultrasound, it appears that you have a similar nose to the child.
And we have fat upper lips. I see it in the ultrasound as well.
Yes.
I mean, I hope he's the dad. I want our marriage to work, and I want everything to be fine.
Here comes the science bit. The courtroom turns into a mini lecture hall as a medical expert is brought in to talk about clubfoot, making genetics sound like the latest episode of a mystery series. Who knew biology class could be this gripping?
Jerome, would you please escort Dr. Samantha Brown Parks into the courtroom? I'd like to hear from her. Hello, doctor.
Hi there.
Hello, thank you so much. Our couple, Mr. and Mrs. Kiesel, are here, and they are desperately trying to determine whether or not Mr. Kiesel is this child's biological father. He has talked about having a physical condition that runs in his family, a club foot. And I need to know from you.
Brace yourselves. The suspense is real. After the doc's input, Mr. Kiesel's still holding on to hope like a contestant on a game show, betting all on baby features and genetic roulette, because who needs DNA tests when you've got a hunch?
After hearing the testimony of the doctor, Mr. Kiesel, has your opinion changed as to whether or not you believe this child is your biological child?
Not really, Your Honor. From what I saw in the ultrasounds, I thought I saw the clubfoot. I see many resemblances between us, and...
But have you been honest with yourself about these feelings you've had thus far? I want the child to be mine. I believe the child is mine.
Drum roll, please. The big reveal is finally here.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Kiesel, you are the father.
The court session kicks off with the judge making her grand entrance, and the greetings fly around like confetti at a wedding. The case of Smith versus Hopkins is tossed into the arena by Jerome, setting the scene for a paternity drama that's got more twists than a pretzel, involving a 2-year-old named Camya. Grab your popcorn, because this show's just getting started.
Ms. Smith, you've petitioned the court today to prove to your fiance that he is the biological father of your beautiful 2-year-old daughter, Kamaya.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh boy, here's where it gets juicy. Mr. Hopkins dives into why he's got this cloud of doubt hanging over him, and it all boils down to Ms. Smith. Smith dropping bombshells during their spats that Camya isn't his. These revelations have stirred up a storm, leaving him to question his place in Camya's life, despite opening his wallet and heart to her. And you thought your family dinners were dramatic.
She told me herself a couple of times, numerous of times, that in an argument that Kamaya wasn't mine. And
just to make you mad, it wasn't to...
That ain't how you,
make you
You said that, Ms. Smith? You said Kamaya's not your child? That's not something you say in an argument.
Yes, I have said.
Threw birthday parties for Kamaya. Her second birthday party I threw for her. I provided shoes, clothes for her. You see what I'm saying, Your Honor?
Well, this just took a turn into soap opera territory. Ms. Smith drops a bombshell that she had a rendezvous with her ex, the father of her other kiddos, right around the time Camya was conceived. This spicy revelation sends Mr. Hopkins' doubt meter off the charts, especially since no one's bothered to exclude the ex from the baby daddy lottery with a DNA test. Stay tuned, because this rabbit hole goes deeper.
Around the time I got pregnant with Kamaya, I went and slept with him twice.
Without protection?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hopkins, did you know this was going on at the time?
At the time, I didn't. I didn't find out until one day I just received a letter from her ex saying that he Kamaya father, and from that point on, I just just been doubt. I have evidence if you would like for me to present.
I would like to see that. Thank you.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, the court has shown posts from Mr. Smith's ex claiming he's the proud papa of Kamya, adding fuel to the dumpster fire of doubt Mr. Hopkins is feeling. Despite the ex's social media daddy claims, Ms. Smith stands firm that Mr. Hopkins is the father, pointing out their shared nose as Exhibit A. You can't make this stuff up, folks.
And that's referring to you, Miss Smith. You stand in the courtroom and you testify that you have no doubt that Mr. Hopkins is Kamaya's father.
I do feel he's her father. She looked like him, like they eyes, they nose.
So wait, has your ex been excluded by a previous DNA test?
No.
All right, let's go to your next piece of evidence, Mr. Hopkins. This picture said, and it's also from the ex,
Hold on to your hats. We're doing some math. The court tries to piece together the conception timeline, with Mr. Hopkins' stint in the slammer throwing a wrench into the works. Despite the timeline suggesting Mr. Hopkins could be the father, his mom comes in swinging with testimony about Ms. Smith's fidelity, or lack thereof. Next up, Maury Povich makes a guest appearance. Just kidding, but can you imagine?
you say Kamaya was born when?
October 15th.
October 15th, got that. And you were on an involuntary extended stay, we'll call it. When?
I say like around the end of January, beginning of February.
All right, so let's count back.
It don't make
It ends up being approximately 40 weeks, which is long enough for a baby to be born. But based on this calendar, you do understand that you're not excluded being a possible father. You understand that, right?
Get ready for a heart melter, people. A video of Kamya calling Mr. Hopkins Papa is played, showing the deep bond they share, making the possibility of him not being the father even more heart-wrenching. This little girl has stolen his heart, and the courtroom is not prepared for the flood of emotions. I'm not crying, you're crying. Okay, maybe I am.
So, well, she calling him Papa. She really love him, like just love him.
I like to see that. Jerome, will you please hand me?
Well, Papa, him right there. What's his name?
Papa.
What?
So cute. And so your concern, Miss Smith, is that the results.
And now, for a moment of legal levity. Mr. Hopkins has filed a lawsuit for $20,500, representing the cash he shelled out on Kamya, thinking she was his. The court, however, decides these were gifts, not loans, and tosses his lawsuit out faster than a bad sitcom. Better luck next time, buddy.
Look, I've seen on videotape your relationship with this child. These expenses, in this court's opinion, were gifts to that child. For that reason, I'm going to dismiss your claim.
Thank you.
You need to say to one another before the truth is read, because the truth can make a liar out of you. So better you tell the truth before it tells it for you.
Brace yourselves. The truth bomb is about to drop. The DNA test results are unveiled.
As it pertains to 2-year-old Kamaya Anderson, Mr. Hopkins, you are not Kamaya's father.
It's gonna be all right, baby.
I'm sorry.
So here we go, the court circus kicks off. Everyone's told to park their behinds and get comfy, because boy, are we in for a show. The judge, participants, and audience exchange hellos, like it's a weird family reunion, and trust me, it's about to get as spicy as Grandma's secret chili sauce.
Miss Cotton, you say Mr. Pendleton's meddling mother is the reason he is denying your 5-month-old daughter Love Cotton. You claim you are 100% positive he's the father and plan to set the record straight today. Mr. Pendleton, you are here today with your mother, and you both believe that it's impossible that you fathered Miss Cotton's daughter because you claim you are unable to have children.
Dive into the relationship roller coaster of Ms. Cotton and Mr. Pendleton, featuring a breakup, makeup, and a side of Bedroom Olympics with a mystery contender that might just mix up the paternity pot even more. It's like watching a tennis match, but the ball is a baby. Who will score the daddy point? The suspense is real.
And then we separated, and then we were still, dealing with each other. But when she got pregnant, she told me she was pregnant. Like 2 weeks later, she called me and said it's a possibility, that the baby might not be mine. So if you call me and tell me that, then I'm not supposed to believe you when you say that the baby's 100% mine.
I slept with one person in April.
Okay, so you slept with somebody.
Right, but how many times though? Like she told me it was once.
One time in April.
But how can I believe
we were not
you
together.
did
I
it?
do whatever I want with
So
my
how are you
body.
100% sure?
In a plot worthy of a daytime Emmy, Ms. Cotton confesses to a sneaky, unprotected rendezvous amidst a supposedly protected tango, throwing a wild card into the already muddled paternity mess. The drama meter just exploded, and we're here sipping the tea, waiting for the next bombshell.
It was protected until he took the condom off.
And that would be unprotected.
But she's like, how can you be 100% sure if the guy took the condom off?
I mean, that really is the question of the day besides paternity.
Because allegedly she looked like me, but she a baby. She ain't got her features yet.
How
Don't get me
don't
wrong.
she have her features
Don't get me
yet?
wrong. She
Like,
beautiful, like she gorgeous, but I can't. She a baby. Babies don't start developing.
Oh, she's so precious.
Thing.
daughters. You just thanked me. Just thanked me like that was your daughter.
Just when you thought your brain had enough twists and turns, Ms. Cotton and Mr. Pendleton navigate through the murky waters of pregnancy timelines and ultrasound debates with the confidence of lost tourists refusing to ask for directions. She's convinced she's the human version of a pregnancy test, but the doc begs to differ. Spoiler alert, it's about to get as clear as mud.
But Ms. Cotton, you're saying that you were even confused with your doctor's appointment because conception date and the window got moved.
And they were trying to tell me that I wasn't as far I knew I was. Like, they tried to make it seem like I wasn't, as far in my pregnancy, but I knew I was farther than what they were saying.
So you basically knew more than the doctor.
It's my body.
Is this your first baby?
No, it's not.
First of all, calm that neck down when I'm asking you questions, because I'm trying to understand what your point is, and your point proves your case.
Here comes the soap opera-worthy confession, night before court, complete with mystery, intrigue, and denied rendezvous accusations that Mr. Pendleton feigns ignorance about. Is it amnesia or just selective hearing? Either way, the plot's so thick you could cut it with a knife.
I found out all the stuff that was going on. I was honest with him as well.
That's my point. During that time, did the other guy try to step up? Did he try to be involved in the pregnancy?
It wasn't no talking.
So at that time, was Mr. Pendleton in your life helping you along with the pregnancy?
He was in my life, stringing me along. Oh, it's the baby yours. We gonna be together. Had a whole new girlfriend that his mother just, fell in love with. Now y'all best friends.
We're now deep in the territory of he kinda, sorta, maybe did stuff for the baby, or not. Discussions about Mr. Pendleton's involvement, or lack thereof, with love since her arrival turn into a he said she said fiasco. Will he step up or continue to be a cameo in his daughter's life? The jury and everyone else is still out.
Every 3-4 months or whatever,
so no consistency.
No, not at all.
And so when you had the baby, was he there in the hospital?
No. He was like, well, I'll come up there and we can get the DNA test, and he never came.
So now Love is 5 months old. What has Mr. Pendleton done for her?
Honestly, spent a little bit of time. Like, he got her a couple weekends.
Yeah, and I come get her during the day.
The paternity results are in, and surprise, Mr. Pendleton is...
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Pendleton, you are the father.